So, ever since I've gotten into Magic, I've always been a Commander Frog, and I've never really gotten into any other format until a couple months ago, where my friends had convinced me to get into Standard. And I think it really shows with how I build my first decks that I'm a very much Commander player at heart still, or, was going into it. But since then, I've kind of shifted to kind of more Standard play and like limited play. But I just wanted to show some things and I wanted to say some things about my first standard deck and how I think, not like necessarily overhauling, but how I think I want to change it. Um, but first, let me show you the deck. So the actual deck is Random Encounter. And I'm going to have a picture of this up in post because this is blurry as all get out. But Random Encounter reads: Shuffle your library, then mill 4 cards. Put each creature card milled this way onto the battlefield. They gain haste. At the beginning of the next end step, return those creatures to their owner's hands. And it has flashback for 8, which for 8 mana, which just means that you can play from the graveyard for that cost. And the original cost is 6 mana. So if you are unfamiliar with how standard is, or if you're a commander player like how I was, and you're looking at a video standard because you just like magic content. Standard only has 60 cards, whereas commander has 100. So in standard, you can have as well as up to 4 cards. So I have 4 random encounters. The reason why I want to have 4 random encounters is because the whole point of this deck is casting this card and to flip into giant, crazy monsters that will end the game on turn like 4 or 5 in a very perfect world without any interaction, which in standard is a little hard to get around. Or if you don't die, uh, you know, play removal is really good removal sometimes. So basically, the whole goal of the deck is just to survive, survive until you make it to turn 6, and then hopefully you don't mill 4 lands, right? And then you get nothing, or you get a couple land Llanowars and do nothing. To get a little introduction to what could potentially flip into, or the other even game plans of what it can do. So I'm running a one of copy of Improvisation Capstone. The only reason why it isn't more is because I just can't find them. These things are extremely hard to find. Ever since Strixhaven has been getting out, all the capstones are really good. Or I think it's all improvisations or whatever their thing is. Their paradigm spells are extremely hard to get rid of or get a hold of. So we're on one copy. This basically says exile cards from top of your library until you exile cards with total mana value 4 or greater. I may cast any number of spells from among them without paying their mana cost. And it has Paradigm, which Paradigm just says this spell will get exiled, but then on my next main phase of every turn, I get to cast a copy, or I get to cast this actually. I don't even think it's a copy. I get to cast this, and it goes back in exile, and then I can keep doing that over and over again. But the whole goal is to maybe hit maybe a random encounter or a big creature because it's mana value 4 or greater. So it just stops once you hit mana value 4 or more of spells in general, not just of just other things. So it's pretty solid one of. Then we're running 2 Raph and Mikey Troublemakers. These are 7 mana 7/7s that have trample and haste, and whenever they attack, I reveal cards inside my library until I reveal a creature card. Put the card into the battlefield tapped and attacking, and the rest on the bottom of my library in a random order. Basically, again, it's a big, chunky monster that even without random encounter, if I just have 7 mana, I can say, okay, cool, I'm gonna slam down a big threat, and hopefully I get another big threat that comes with it that's gonna cascade me into more and more stuff to where I can just run them over, right? That's a whole Timmy mindset that we're going with this deck. So that's that. Then we're also, again, another 2 of with the Aurora Reckoners. The only reason why there aren't more of these, well, you might be asking, like, why don't we want to just run as many? Yeah, because I'm about to go lower and lower. But why don't we want to run like 4 of these and 4 of Ralph and Mikey's, right? In this kind of format to get max potential. Um, because we really want to hit our land drops. We can't skip out on lands, and then you also really want to hit ramp. But anyways, this guy is a 7 mana 7/7 with trample. He has Vivid. He says, when this creature enters, reveal cards inside my library until I reveal X permanent cards, where X is the number of colors among permanents I control. Put any number of those permanent cards onto the battlefield, then put the rest of the revealed cards on the bottom of my library in a random order. Again, just perfect, right? Even if you cast this guy alone, I've done that a couple times in Desperation, you can still hit like really good permanents. You're just running a lot of really big permanents, but in my deck list, you can have up to 3 colors. Whenever this guy comes in, and if you hit him off a random encounter and you have that many, you might just win the game, or you could hit a bunch of lands. It is permanent cards, so it's any of those. So it's either going to be creatures or lands, but in this deck it's kind of okay with either or. Mana and creatures are good. So that's him. Then we're, again, a lot of twos. We're on 2 Trumpeting Carnosaurs. These guys are pretty cool because they're 6 mana, 7/6s with trample. But whenever they enter, they discover for 5. So it can potentially give us more ramp whenever we cast it, or it can get us a removal spell of some sort. Like I have 2 Pyroclasms in the deck, and sideboard out removal, or sideboarding removal as well. That can be hit by this if I really need it. And then for 3 mana, we can discard it to deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. And I'm going to be so sad whenever these rotate out because this card is amazing. This card is so good at being early game removal to save your life and late game pressure to really, really hammer down your opponent to make sure that they do not feel comfortable. Because that trample on a 7/6 is huge. And as well, I was talking about the ramp, but it can also hit another card in our deck that is a dragon that is a flyer as a 4/5, and just putting down 11 power of pressure from 6 mana is amazing if it happens. But that's him. We have 1 Bahamut. It's kind of a newer pickup. It's an enchantment creature, Saga Dragon, with flying as a 9/9. It's 9 mana though. It says Chapter 1 and 2, destroy up to 1 target non-land permanent. Chapter 3, destroy 2 cards, or draw 2 cards, not destroy. And then Chapter 4, this creature deals damage equal to the total mana value of other permanents you control to each opponent. Basically, if you get this off a flip, it's swinging in for 9 immediately, and you blow up one thing off a random encounter. Just good. It's a lot of damage. I'm toying around with it to see how good it is. Maybe I might add more, maybe one more, maybe. But right now it's just as a one of, because 9 mana, a lot of the stuff I can actually cast, but this one's kind of like very late game if I actually can be able to cast this again. But then again, all the creatures do go back to my hand, so maybe I could do it again. Who knows? Now we're getting into a 2 of. I've seen other lists run one of these as more of like a piece against control decks, but I kind of like 2 for 2 reasons. Because this is a 6 mana, 7/5 that says when this creature leaves the battlefield, draw a card, then I may put a permanent card with mana value less than or equal to the number of lands I control from my hand onto the battlefield. Cool thing about this, it has Warp for 4 mana. So you can actually play it on turn 4 and draw a card and maybe ramp, or you could even hit it off random encounter, and if you hit it off random encounter and you have 6 lands, or 5, yeah, if you have 6 lands, then you can pick it up off random encounter back into your hand, right? And then you're able to redeploy it immediately because you have 6 lands. And that just feels so good because you get to keep it pretty much. Or if you want to put down another threat, a better threat maybe than this one. I just feel like that's insanely good. But, people do it run as a one of, I do it as a 2. I'm again trying out stuff in my deck. I'm about to say something at the end of this as well with the changing of the random encounter itself. So the next up, finally another 4 of. We have 4 Overlord of the Boiler Bilges. This card is insane. It is one of my most favorite cards in this deck. I love seeing it every time I play the deck. It is my favorite card in standard right now. It is a 6 mana 5/5 that says whenever it enters or attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target. Simple. It's basically like a bigger Inferno Titan, kind of, but just directly at something. But you can impend it for 4 mana, and it says if you cast the spell for its impending cost, enters with 4 time counters, and it isn't a creature until the last one is removed. At the beginning of your end step, remove a time counter from it. So basically, this thing is just a ticking time bomb whenever you play it because it will come in as an enchantment. So it's not a creature, but it's on the board, and it will become a creature eventually. but just not at the moment that you play it, which I think is so good because just the fact that this thing is a clock for your opponent to get rid of is so good. Um, turn 4, you can remove a creature, and then, in 3 other turns of your end steps, it'll finally become a creature, which seems like that's slow, but this deck, you actually do kind of want to play a waiting game, kind of, at least with how it is, uh, because you're just trying to, like, save up the mana and just eventually get there. So it's pretty good for those one-on-one trades at 4 mana. But at 6 mana, it's a beast because it's 6 mana, 4 damage. Next turn, 4 damage. Third turn of that 4 damage. And it's a 5/5 creature. So, I mean, if they have no creatures, then they take 9 every turn, and that's not fun. That kills them very quickly. So, pretty fun card. Amazing card to flip into because you can blow them out of the water really fast if you hit multiple of these in a row. Um, Another one of my favorite cards. This was a 4 in the deck, but I cut down to 3 in the main board and put 1 in sideboard. I'm just trying to toy around with stuff. It just depends on your area, but where I'm playing at, there's a lot of people who play this card called Deep Cavern Bat, that is extremely good against this, because the main part about this card is that it's a white card, and all the other cards in this deck are green and red. However, this card says as an omen, which is kind of it makes the creature a two-way spell, sort of. So you can either cast it for the creature side at the top, or you can cast it for the omen side at the bottom here. It says, this spell, Charming Bite, deals 5 damage to target creature without flying. And my thing is that I've been coming into seeing people playing creatures that either have flying or just really, really wide boards, like token decks, kind of. And this isn't, like, terrible, but it's also not great sometimes. So that's the reason why it's cut down 1 for those kind of matches, though I can sideboard it just accordingly. But it was a 4 I felt like it was coming up a little bit too much, so I cut down 1. So I think I cut it down for the Anticostal Vestige just to see how it plays. But it's not bad, because off random encounter it doesn't care what color it is. We get the creature regardless, so that's good. But, pretty simple. 5 damage to creature without flying, and whenever it enters, it gains 5 life. Pretty simple. Pretty good. 1 Overlord of the Huntwoods. Enters or attacks. Make a tapped, basically, land that taps for anything, which is solid. And then you can impend it for 3 instead of for the 4, like the other Overlord was. This one basically just makes mana. It's just a turn 3 ramp piece. Good overall. I have 4 Bloomvine Regents. Another really good card. It has a Omen attached to it, like the other one did. For 3 mana, search my library for up to 2 basic force cards, reveal them, put 1 onto the battlefield tapped, and the other into my hand, then shuffle. And then it says, the actual creature says, whenever this dragon or another dragon you control enters, you gain 3. So this just prolongs you in the long game. If you're able to play out these, they're 4/5s in the air. That can put a clock on your opponent, but they also just gain you a lot of life over time. Just a solid card overall, and it basically is like a cultivate on the Omen side. The Omen does force you to shuffle the card into your library, though. I forgot to mention that at first. But it does force you to shuffle the card back into your library. But the cool thing about with Random Encounter is that you can flip into it again, right? Because Random Encounter is completely random. You could put, this could get shuffled to the bottom of your deck, but then you cast Random Encounter, you shuffle, and then it could be at the top 4. So that's fun. And then we have 2 Spinewoods Armadillos. Pretty simple again. It's a 7/7 that's 6 mana, reach, ward 3, and pay 2 mana, discard the Armadillo. Search library for a basic land card or a desert card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle, you gain 3. Another just good card for sustainability. 3 life does not sound like a lot, especially to commander players. I didn't think it was going to be that much, but in the attrition to get up to your big spells, 3 life is so much. Alright, I've seen decks go on, I think, 3 or 4 of these about, because they are that good, to be fair, but I'm just not running it. So we'll see how that goes. But for right now, these are not in my... I should have 2 of these. Not in my main needs. Here is the only removal that is main board. I have 2 Pyroclasms main board. I have a couple on the side. Pyroclasm is just a 2 mana sorcery that says deal 2 damage to each creature. Simple but very effective against a lot of decks. So many creatures are just like 2/2s or 1/1s or whatever, 3/2s, whatever. So it killed a lot. Never many times have I felt like a Pyroclasm is just terrible in my hand. It's even good as like after combat. If you had something that could block my thing and it didn't die, well, I can Pyroclasm it away usually. Overall, pretty solid card. 2 Summon Fenrir's, another ramp piece. It's a Saga enchantment creature. First Saga, search your library for a basic land card, put on battlefield tapped. Next one, whenever you cast a creature spell, it enters an additional counter. Or the third chapter, draw a card if you control the creature with the greatest power, or tied for the greatest power. Essentially, I almost always forget this thing does anything else besides ramp you a land, because, I mean, that's what you're playing it for. But, I mean, it's good overall. It can draw you an extra card. It can make a creature bigger for a turn, maybe like make a Llanowar Elf, realistically make a Llanowar Elf one bigger. A really cool interaction with this, though, is that if you impend a spell, while it's on the second chapter, the impended creature will come in with an extra 1/1 counter, which then whenever it eventually becomes an actual creature, it will be 1 power and toughness bigger, right? So it's a small thing, it's a smaller thing, but it is something, right? It's a neat interaction. And then for the finale of this, pretty much, we have 4 Llanowar Elves. Pretty basic for any green deck in standard right now. I mean, Llanowar Elf is pretty busted. Just 1 mana, get 1 mana, and then it keeps going and going and going. So, pretty good. We're on a pretty decent number of basics. I'm on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 forests, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mountains. And then I'm on the 2 Thornspine Verges, 4 Abandoned Temples, and then just 2 Bristling Backwoods. This deck is pretty budget, I would say. I don't really wouldn't love spending, how much, like $300 for a deck. I like to challenge myself and try and make budget things or fun things that I really enjoy. So the mana base is pretty on the cheaper end, kind of trading for these. This is like one of the cheapest Verges also, which is awesome for me, in my budget wants and needs. But yeah, this is pretty much the deck. It's just very, very like mid-range kind of aggro once it hits the spell. So it kind of just wants to keep the game under check with kind of like burn spells and just creatures, being able to block that are just like good statted, gain life throughout the game, and just make sure my opponent cannot kill me too quickly, or else I would not be a happy camper. There's a little bit of sideboard for this deck, and I guess I can just give that. Actually, before I do that, before I go to sideboard, the main thing about this deck, with Random Encounter, is that Random Encounter is, and as the name implies, it's very random. So whenever you cast a Random Encounter, I mean, you could hit 2 creatures, right? But you don't want to hit 2 creatures and, lose. You kind of want to win. You want to win the game whenever you cast one of these spells. And that's the reason why going into like game 2 and game 3 potentially, it can feel bad, because it's like, if they know that it is coming, they can play in such a way to where it's harder for you to, I guess, get the win. Or I don't really know how to explain it. It feels like this deck is really good whenever it is a surprise. Like, just being able to ramp, and your opponent kind of playing maybe a little bit more passively than how they could be. Because every bit of mana matters. So whenever they start killing your Llanowar Elves, which it's a good thing to do that. You should bolt the bird, you should bolt the elf. But whenever they really start killing your mana, that is something that is very, very gut-wrenching for the game plan. And I think that it leaves you open a little bit, right, with having these random encounters. Yes, they do have flashback, but 8 mana is a lot in a format where people are dying on like turn, you know, turn 3, turn 4, right? I mean, this deck can kill you turn 4, but it's hard. It's extremely hard to do it. You have to have a really good hand. You have to have really good draws, or not really good, but you have to have decent draws, right? Decent hand, decent draws to do it. Where other decks can kind of just run their gears and then kill you, right? So I think that's definitely something to consider while looking at this deck as a whole. I'm just very, very, very intrigued by that. To say that, I'll say that these are probably going to get replaced with Earth's Mightiest Heroes that came out from the new Marvel set, because Earth's Mightiest Heroes, I'm saying this kind of off memory, it's a 6-mana spell, but it's green, so it's 2 greens and 4. You look at the top 8, or you reveal the top 8, and then you get 1 creature from among the top 8, and you put on Strands of the Field. Doesn't sound as good comparably, because you get to look at twice as many, but you only get 1. It doesn't get haste or anything, which is like, well, why would I play that? Well, it has a keyword on there called Teamwork 5, and that basically says if you tap creatures with total power 5 or greater, you get to get an added bonus on the spell, and the bonus on that spell is if you had the teamwork cost paid, you look at the top 8, or reveal top 8, and then you get all creatures from among the top 8 onto the battlefield. Which, at that point, it doesn't matter. I know, and the rest go in the graveyard, but it doesn't matter, how many you hit, because you're keeping them, right? With random encounter, that's the main downside, is that you might not win in 1 turn, and if you don't, all the creatures you got go back to your hand. With Earth's Mightiest Heroes, that thing is going to stick around, right? So like you could cast 1 Earth's Mightiest Heroes like early, get 1 creature like a Stomping Carnosaur or whatever, and then later tap the Carnosaur to like a top 8 again, and then try and get another one, or try and get more. I just think that's nuts, right? So I think that's going to be the main change for this deck, sadly. Random encounter is so fun, but it is, I think, time to try and for a change as like a big green deck, I think. But I think the deck's going to stay the same, honestly. It's basically the same shell, but just a little different. But that's my little yap about that. Anyways, the sideboard is pretty standard, I think, for red-green stuff. We have 2 Leatherheads, cool TMNT card. It is a trample 5/4 for 4, already pretty good statted. It enters with a hexproof counter on it. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you can remove the counter from it. You may remove a counter from her. When you do, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. So, she comes in with a counter. Whenever she hits, you can remove it to destroy artifacts. Good against maybe like an artifact matchup or something. Maybe like a Simulacrum deck or something. If you see one of those. Those are pretty kind of rarer now. But this is interesting. I just thought about this because you can have like +1/+1 counters on her or something. Take them off to then blow up artifacts again. Like do it again and again. And you can keep the hexproof counter on her if you can do that before. That's cool. Another cards up in here that I really like are 2 of Braids. Braid is a pretty iconic magic card with this really sick card from Strixhaven. Deal 3 damage to target creature, destroy target artifact, or destroy target artifact for 2 mana. Just good. We have a Sunspine Lynx. Sunspine Lynx stops life gain. Damage can be prevented. Whenever it enters, it deals damage equal to each player equal to the number of non-basic lands that player controls, mainly for life gain decks. There's one very prevalent one, and every night a Friday Night Magic, he so well against my deck. Don't know how. Cannot climb that hill right now. But I probably need more than one of those. We have a Dragonhawk Fate's Tempest, another one of. It's for the control matchups. Whenever it enters or attacks, exile the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of creatures you control with power 4 or greater. I may play those cards until your next instep. At the beginning of your next instep, Dragonhawk deals 2 damage to each opponent for each of those cards that are still exiled. So I actually read Dragonhawk wrong at first. I thought he got rid of the cards next instep, but he gets rid of them the next instep. So instead of waiting, a whole turn to survive and, do his damage thing, It's right at that end step, so if you hit him off a random encounter, then you get to exile a bunch of cards, attack, exile a bunch of cards, and then deal that much. So if you exile, let's say like 3, then 6, you are dealing, what, 12 damage? But with the new card with Earth's Mightiest Heroes, you would exile 3, but you get to keep them, which is pretty good in my opinion. That's another one of. I'm pretty bad with the one of. I think that might be my commander brain. I'm not gonna lie. Because I'll go ahead and actually get all the one of out of the way then. I have one more Pyroclasm, which is the, again, just 2 damage to everything. We have a one of the Twin Moss Stormbrood, again, the Charming Bite that I took out of the main board. Raphael Nightwatcher. This is a newer one. Just trying it out, trying to see what if I like it. I think this should be for control matchups, but we'll see. It's a 3-mana sneak creature, or yeah, 3-mana sneak. Attacking creature you control have double strike as a 2/3. Full price is for 4. Then we have Stormfield Vanguard, a adventure creature, different from Omen. This one gets exiled and you can play the actual creature later. The adventure is bear down, destroy target artifact or enchantment for 2 mana. Actual creatures worth 6, and it can be blocked by creatures with power to run. Pretty simple. Another artifact removal. And then I have 2 Scavenging Oozes. Pay a green, exile card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, put a 1/1 counter on Scavenging Ooze and you gain a life. Pretty simple. Gaining threat. And then 1 Keynote Curator. As long as there are 4 more cards, 4 more card types among cards exiled with Keynote Curator, it gets +4/+4 and has trample. And then pay 1 mana, exile target card from a graveyard. Pretty good overall. Can be pretty good against maybe like a Delirium deck, something of that sort. Naya Delirium is kind of coming up in a standard a little bit. It's a very interesting brew. But you know, this is my deck that I'm in standard, and the changes I'm thinking about making to it. If you have any cool deck brews, let me know. I'd be very happy to see them. Ciao.